Welcome back. I'm glad you are here. So, today we're talking about called to be extra. My mom called me this weekend and she said that her and dad had seen a sign that said the extra mile is less crowded. She said, now write that down and you do something with that. You do a devotional with that. You can do it. Just go ahead. So, in my mind, I heard, mind your mama. so, so, here we go. We are in Matthew 5:38 through 42, and it says, Ye have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee out at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow to thee turn not thou away. And when I was reading that, the note on verse 41 had said that compel, if you're, whosoever shall compel thee. So the word compel is the Greek verb that comes from a Persian word meaning, a Persian word it means press into service. And it's also used in Matthew 27:32, where the Roman soldiers pressed Simon to carry Jesus' cross. It's talking here about being pressed into service. It's talking about doing something for somebody else. And it's talking about going the extra mile. If someone asks you to go 1 mile, then go with them too. Anybody can do the minimum. We're being called to be extra. We're called to do that extra mile, to do more than what is expected. God's telling us what kind of people that He wants us to be. He's wanting us, we're called to be loving and giving and to go that extra mile. Years ago, we had heard of a mission trip that Justin might be interested in. So they were people that knew some of our family members, and they said, hey, y'all might want to go talk to this guy because this is something Justin might be interested in. So we go, and we learned that the leader of this mission trip was a baseball coach. And Justin loved baseball, loved playing it. He played ever since he was 5 years old. So this mission trip would involve this coach would, he would assemble a ball team and he would take them to the Dominican Republic and they would play baseball against other Dominican teams. And while they were there, they would share the gospel. And so in preparing for this trip, they would collect and have people donate equipment like gloves, bats, balls, all of the equipment needed for baseballs. Because what they did was they would fill a big baseball bag full of all that equipment, and they would then, after each game, they would share the gospel, and then they would give a bag of all of that equipment to each team. And just as a gift for them, and they would collect all this equipment. So one of the things that, Justin was full, he was all in. He was fully interested in this, and so were we. We were interested in it, and of course, we wouldn't be going with him. So here we are about to send our teenager to the Dominican Republic with a group of boys he didn't know, a coach. So while the coach was talking to us and telling us what to expect and what to prepare for, he began telling us that he told Justin, he would need to be prepared with all of his equipment, everything he needed to take with him, gloves, bats, balls, pants, shirts, all of the things that he would need to play ball. And he needed to be prepared when he went. But he also needed to be prepared when he went to come back with none of it. And we were kind of like, what? And he said, because you're going to want to give it all away. He said, it happens every time. He said, I've done this for years. You're going to want to give it all away. And of course, as soon as the coach said that, I knew as big as Justin's heart was, he would come back with nothing. And he didn't. He came back with absolutely nothing. He gave his glove away. He gave that was brand new that we had bought that year. He gave away his batting gloves, shirts, pants, whatever he had. He gave it away. And he told us in one of the last games they played, he was at bat. He got hit with the ball on, I think it was on the hand, and he had to sit out the rest of the game. So as he was sitting there, he saw a couple of little boys playing and watching the game, and so he decided, I'm going to give them my batting gloves. So he goes and gives them his batting gloves, and their eyes just lit up. And all of the older kids came rushing over, and Justin thought, oh, they're about to take them from him. And he said, but they didn't. What they did was they were celebrating with these little boys that he had just given those gloves to, because in their culture, if an American gave them something, it was an honor. And he didn't realize that. So when someone told him that, it was a pretty amazing experience for him that he got to witness that. But then there was another moment that as he's sitting there watching this game that meant even more to him than that moment. He was sitting there and he noticed the other team's pitcher. And he started noticing the other team's pitcher's shoes, cleats, shoes, whatever they were. He said, you couldn't really tell what they were because he was busting out of these shoes. And he had these shoes taped onto his feet. And so after the game, he walked over to this pitcher. He said, I could tell we were about the same size. He said, so I gave him my cleats. Gave him his cleats. And he said, the way that this kid lit up and was so shocked and so appreciative made his trip. I really think, of course, Justin had said that, if he hadn't gotten hit in that game and had to sit out, he may not have noticed the things that were going on around him. He may not have noticed those opportunities had he still been playing in the game, because, when he plays, he gets so focused on it. So he was very thankful for that opportunity to be able to do that. But I think Justin got way more out of that than even the pitcher did. It just meant so much to Justin, and it meant as much to the pitcher, but Justin was so happy to do it. And so that's what it means to go the extra mile, and even though Justin went to the Dominican Republic, doesn't mean that we have to go on some mission trip to go the extra mile for someone else. We can do that wherever we are, whatever we're doing. And when you think about maybe when someone's lost a loved one and you go to take them food, maybe take more than is necessary, maybe stay and clean up, do whatever you can for them. And then, while you're cutting your grass, what if you cut your neighbor's grass? My mother-in-law had this awesome neighbor that he was out cutting his grass one day, and he thought, I'm going to cut hers too. So he cut her grass. And she told him, you don't have to do that. My son is going to be coming to cut the grass. And he said, well, I want to do it. He said, I'm here. There's no need for him to have to load up all of his equipment and come and do it when I'm right here. And so he began cutting her grass, and she really appreciated that. We appreciated it too, because we didn't expect it, and we didn't know that he was going to do that. We saw people last week with all the tornadoes and all the storms. We saw people last week. We've seen pictures of the tornadoes in Birmingham, and we've seen pictures of people going to help, and we've heard stories of people going to help to clean up debris, cut down trees, do all of the things to help them to clean up where they are, to encourage them, to be there for them, to just lend that helping hand. Going, and they don't even know these people. They don't know who they are. They just want to help. And they're encouraging these people. They're ministering to these people. Some of them have lost their homes. Some of them have lost loved ones. and there's no way they can do any of it on their own. And so when people go and help like that, not asking for anything in return, they're going above and beyond. They're going that extra mile. They're helping them pick up the pieces. What would it look like this summer? There's a lot of churches that host Vacation Bible School. What would it look like if we were teaching our kids to give to others, to help others? What if we got them involved in a service project? Someone in our community that may needed help, or just help them in their yard, whatever it may be. Go run errands for someone. What would that look like if we taught our kids? We help people. That's what we do. What would it look like if we ourselves got involved and take those opportunities to be more involved in your church, more involved in your communities, helping others, doing what we've been called to do, going above and beyond, going that extra mile and plus some, doing for others just allows Jesus to shine through us. It shares the love of Jesus. And when we do those things, they see that. They see the love of Jesus. They feel that. And they don't feel so alone. We need to help others, and we need to do those things without expecting anything in return. Not even expecting a thank you. They shouldn't have to. That they are appreciative. So just like Justin, I think the way that he got more out of giving those cleats away than, which the picture did too. They both had a special moment. And we can have that with others, and we're going to get so much more out of it by doing what God has called us to do. We need to look for the opportunities. They're all around us. Whether it's helping someone put their groceries in their car at the grocery store, or smiling at someone, speaking with someone. We live in a lost and dying world. We live in a world that is hurting. And they need that hope. They need that hope that is in Jesus. And we need to share that. We need to share what we have in Him so that they can have the same thing that we have. So think about it this week. Think about, what can I do to serve others? What can I do to be extra? And go above and beyond. Do what we have been called to do. I pray that you have a great week, and that you think about these things. Think about what we can do for others. There's a lot of need. There's a lot of hurt. And they can all use the love of Jesus. And we have that to share. So until next time, see you later. Thanks, guys.